Headlines News Diary here on a KTN News as we set the pace for you to let you know what you need to be expecting for the better part of today. One of our biggest stories so far this morning is about the swearing in of the CASs, the 50 CASs at State House Nairobi, where the president is expected to oversee that process. Actually, the process is currently underway, so I'd like us to cross over and listen into the swearing in of some of the CASs that include former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero. We have Dennis Itumbi and, of course, also Millicent Omanga.
Your Excellency, I would kindly request all of us to be silent when the oath of office is taken, please. Your Excellency, let me now invite Mr. Simon Mwangi Kamau Kikuru, CAS, Minister of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy.
I, Simon Mwangi Kamau Gikuru, being appointed a Chief Administrative Secretary in the Government of Kenya, do swear that I will at all times be faithful to the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect and uphold this Constitution of Kenya and all laws of the Republic, that I will well and truly serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of Chief Administrative Secretary, that I undertake to hold my office as Chief Administrative Secretary with honor and dignity, that I will be a true and faithful counselor to the President for the good management of the public affairs of the Republic of Kenya, that I will not divulge directly or indirectly such matters as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as Chief Administrative Secretary, and that I will perform the functions of my office conscientiously and to the best of my ability. So help me God.
Sir, I now invite Mr. James Kimanthi Mbaluka, CAS, Minister of Health.
I, James Kimanthi Mbaluka, being appointed a Chief Administrative Secretary in the Government of Kenya, do swear that I will at all times be faithful to the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, respect, and uphold this Constitution of Kenya and all the other laws of the Republic, that I will well and truly serve the people and of Kenya in the office of Chief Administrative Secretary, that I will undertake to hold my office as Chief Administrative Secretary with honor and dignity, that I will be a true and faithful counselor to the President for the good management of the public affairs of the Republic of Kenya, that I will not divulge directly or indirectly such matters as shall come to my knowledge in the discharge of my duties and committed to my secrecy, except as may be required for the due discharge of my duties as Chief Administrative Secretary, and that I will perform the functions of my office conscientiously and to the best of my ability. So help me God.
So what we're seeing right now, what you're seeing right now, viewers on your screen, is the CSs who are taking the oath of office, and this is after even Parliament refused to vet them, and this was following that letter that was written to President William Ruto by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, informing the President that Parliament doesn't have the mandate to vet the CSs because, number one, these positions are not constitutional offices. The Parliament can only vet, approve or reject nominees to the Cabinet in terms of the Cabinet Secretaries or Principal Secretaries. But when it comes to the CSs, it says that the National Assembly has no constitutional basis to vet these 50 CSs. Initially, those are requests to have 23 CSs. This was the initial number request that was put forth to the Public Service Commission, but then the President ended up shortlisting. The President ended up nominating 50 CSs, and amongst those people who will be taking the oath of office today include the former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero, a former nominated Senator Millicent Omanga, and digital strategist Dennis Itumbi were among the 50 CSs nominees were picked by President William Ruto. And of course, there's also a court case concerning this nomination of the 50 CSs. There is currently a court case concerning the nominated CSs. So wait and see how this will play out, because as much as that court case that was certified as urgent, we are seeing the swearing in as still taking place. Of course, this has rubbed Kenyans the wrong way, with so many people questioning why does the country need 50 CSs? And this is, of course, going to make the public wage bill to be blotted. We already have a blotted public wage bill, so Kenyans of different walks of life are of the opinion that there's no need to have 50 CSs. Amongst these 50 CSs, majority of them are people who never made it through the politics in terms of seeking electives. Say it's like Evans Kidero, who was eyeing that Homa Bay County seat, and of course he lost to the governor of Homa Bay, that is Gladys Wanga. He tried going to the courts to challenge Wanga's win, but then the court ruled that Wanga was duly elected by the people of Homa Bay County. And so after that, he found himself on that list of the 50 CSs. Questions still arise. The Public Service Commission needs to come out and tell Kenyans the sort of criteria that they used to nominate the list that was taken to the president, because out of the 5,000 Kenyans who were shortlisted for the interviews for the position of the CASs, 50 are the ones that made it on that final list, despite the fact that an initial request was for 20 CASs, but then the president ended up having 50 CASs. We're seeing some of government ministries having some as much as 3 CASs, others 2 CASs minimum. And so questions still linger in the minds of Kenyans. Do these ministries deserve to have 3 CASs? Yet some ministries have 2 principal secretaries and some have 1 cabinet secretary. So why again have a bloated government in terms of appointments? So we wait and see how that will play out, that court case that's already in the corridors of justice concerning the appointment of the 50 CASs. Our developing story, definitely a keen eye on it. We'll give you a 360 angle degree into this developing story, only the best way that we can, in a balanced way, here on your authoritative 24-hour news channel. That is KTN News. And so keep it here as we give you more of that story in terms of the CASs who are taking the oath of office this morning at State House, Nairobi. It is a process that began early in